The problem already discussed. Don't need to belabor that. Belabor that is the correct word. So here's all the solutions that I implemented, and I watched so many podcasts. I hired a sleep expert, spent $3,000 on this guy for several weeks of consults and coaching. Read books on it, podcast after podcast, shorts after clip, all this stuff. This is everything that I found, and I'm going to tell you what was most effective for me. And a lot of these kind of have a synergistic sort of compound effect, if I'm being honest. First thing that you got to know is that a lot of what we're dealing with today that interrupts sleep patterns, noise, light pollution, fucking EMF around us all the time. These are all things that you have a certain degree of control of. And it's not that expensive to fix these. Like some of these solutions that I'm going to talk to you about in this video. Look, if you're older, you got your money sorted, you're not going to care about it. You're going to go and spend it. Trust me, it will help. But some of these are pretty much free, like dark, cold, and quiet. Dark, cold, and quiet shouldn't cost you that much money to fix. We didn't have light pollution or any light whatsoever 1,000 years ago, right? Candlelight, maybe if you're lucky, or a campfire, but that was it. We're designed to sleep in the dark, absolute darkness, with the exception of maybe some light from the moon and stars, pretty much absolute darkness. So make your room like a bat cave. You shouldn't be able to see your hand in front of your face. Like it should be that dark. If you have a set of blinds or shutters or California shutters, go to a store. I know Costco sells blackout curtains. They're not expensive. Get blackout curtains. They also deaden sound too. So and in the summertime, if it's hot, they also keep heat out of the room as well too. So blackout curtains are probably the best bang for your buck. It's going to make your room dark. It's going to make your room cold. It's going to make it quieter. So if there's street noise, it's going to filter out some of that. So make your room as cold, dark, and quiet as possible. When I say cold, it doesn't have to be a fridge, but apparently the ideal temperature to sleep in is somewhere around 17 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, probably 65 to 67, something like that, maybe 66. About 65, let's call it. You want to get the temperature cooler, right? Because it gets cold at night, and it's unnatural to be in a bed during the day that's 20 degrees and 20 degrees at night because your HVAC is on and you keep the heat on super high at night. It's unnecessary, and it's not good for deep, restful sleep. You're going to get deeper, restful, more continuous sleep if your room is cold, dark, and quiet. Eliminate noise. If you've got, look, there's some things you can't do to get rid of noise. Noisy neighbors, street noise. You live in a noisy city. You can get earplugs. One of the things that I found incredibly frustrating when I was trying to fix my sleep issues is I put all the work into cold, dark, and quiet room, blackout curtains. I even changed the windows around my bedroom because I didn't find them to keep the street noise out, if you will. So I just paid for better windows. I mean, the windows were about 10, 15 years old anyway, and probably needed to get replaced at some point, but I just put in new windows that were deeper and had sound deadening properties to them. And again, one of the things I found incredibly frustrating is, when I was doing the dating and the plates and all that sort of stuff, and you'd be usually downtown, there's a lot of city lights in Toronto, fucking noise and sirens and all this. And like chicks don't have proper blinds in their bedroom. It's like horrible. You're going to have terrible sleep. Set up your sleep studio, your bedroom, whatever it is you want to call it, so that it is cold, dark, and as quiet as possible. You can use a sleep mask to cover your eyes. You can use earplugs for your ears if necessary, and definitely lower the temperature. So that's step one. And again, you guys in the chat or in the comments after this, leave whatever your tips are, but just sit tight because I'm probably going to cover most of them. The other thing is removing stress. So one of the problems that I had was whenever I had stress in my life, I would always wake up somewhere between 2 and 3 a.m., which, by the way, is also peak cortisol production time when you're stressed. So if you find yourself in a position where you find yourself getting up 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning and you can't fall back asleep, that's because your cortisol is generally spiking. You got to remove as much stress from your life as possible. You don't have control over a lot of things in your life. There's only one part of the universe that you can control, and that's yourself. And that is what you should focus on. I had somebody that once gave me a tip because I was talking to him about dealing with stress. Female betrayal, chicks will cheat on you, of course. And you wake up in the middle of the night, you're like, oh, what did I do? Was this me? What could I have done better? Blah, blah, blah. You're lying there like a goofball trying to figure it out, trying to replay events in your mind like a moron, because that's what we do when we're plugged in, guys, right? And the dude was like, just take your ideas, just take a pen and write it down. He goes, whatever's in your head, just download it, go through the exercise of just writing it down. And I had one of these funky pens. I don't have it here anymore, but I had this pen that actually had a light in the tip of the pen. I left that in the bedroom, and you click it on, the light would come on so you could see the paper and you could see what you're writing. I never really looked at it, but I would just write down shit. And it was hilarious because by the time you'd wake up in the morning, you look at that notepad, you'd see things like you bitch, you betrayer, like just like the weirdest sort of things. But that in itself might be therapeutic for some guys, but ultimately you have to eliminate and learn how to give fewer fucks about things that aren't truly fuckworthy, that aren't within your realm of control. There's a chapter in my book about managing your fucks in the Unplugged Alpha. I know many of you guys have read it. You can just grab it off of Amazon or Kindle or whatever. But I talk about some of those details in there. But you have to manage stress and remove it as much as possible. There's a lot of things like exercise. I'm going to talk about like a few of those other components that help to reduce stress as well, and some supplementation. But stress is a killer. If you find yourself getting up between 2 and 3 a.m., it's usually because of cortisol spiking, and that's a result of stress. It ain't worth it. It's good. Like, you keep doing that for years, it will take time off the end of your life. You will live a shorter life, a less productive and a less fulfilled and a less optimized life if you let stress get to you. If that's a problem for you, do whatever you can to minimize stress, eliminate it, and do everything you can to get more restful and deeper sleep. 3, 4, 5 hours doesn't cut it. That's bullshit. It's not going to work. Another thing that you got to do is remove screens from your life. So if you've got, we all have these devices in our hands all the time, whether it's tablets, TVs, or whatever, but they all emit blue light. And most of them in the settings, like I know my Android has a screen setting where you can take out blue light at nighttime. Turn that on so that it removes as much blue light as possible. You see a lot of these biohacking dudes, right? And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit of a biohacker. I don't tell anybody, but I've figured out what works and what doesn't work. But a lot of these guys will have like these blue blocking glasses, and they have like yellow tints to them, sort of thing. Those things, can work as well to eliminate it. But the best thing really is not to look at screens before bed. I can't tell you how many people, have TVs or phones or tablets right in their bedroom, either on the wall or at their bedside table, almost at all times. And it's a really, really, really bad idea. When I get ready for bed, like, this is my workstation. This is where the EMF is, the computer screens, the lights, the Wi-Fi, all that bullshit. I leave everything here. Everything is like, if I'm going to bed, the phone's here, plugged in to charge here, and it's charging cord, sort of thing. I don't bring my phone into my bedroom. I don't fucking care about notifications. They're all off. The phone is on silent. I don't care if somebody dies in the middle of the night. I can't do shit about it. I'll deal with it in the morning when I wake up. I don't need to get emergency calls. It's not important to me. Sleep is more important to me. Phone's plugged in, it's on mute, and it's away from my body. Using screens before bed or around bedtime or waking up in them, like some people check their phones in the middle of the night. Again, plate spinning days. A lot of women keep phones in their bedroom, right by their bedside table, or they'll be on them in the middle of fucking night, glowing like on their faces. Like, it's like, fuck, you're not designed to do that. When it gets dark and you get sleepy and it's cool, go to sleep and get rid of anything that's a distraction that distracts you from deep sleep. Another thing that I'd recommend here, and I got my notepad over here and a few things are going to pop up. There's an app here. Here, I'll put it up on the screen. I'm going to show you how it works because it's actually really cool and it's free. If I go, you'll probably see this on my screen, actually, if I do it this way. Let's go here to slides. Okay, no, share screen. Here we go. Window, boom. So on the bottom of the screen over here, if I just highlight this, does it show? It doesn't show it up, does it? Hang on. Let's see if there's a way that I can get that to show up. Maybe it won't show it up because it's StreamYard. I might just have to explain it to you. Sorry. Try Chrome tab, see if it pops up that way. And full screen. Let's try that. No, it doesn't. Okay, so this isn't going to show on the screen because it's above the show sort of application. StreamYard doesn't let me pop it up, but there's an app that you can get for absolutely free called f.lux. Okay, F as in Frank, .lux as an X-ray. You should have this on all of your devices that you can put it on. It goes on PCs, it goes on iOS devices, tablets. Actually, don't quote me on that. I'm not sure about tablets, but laptops and desktops. And what it does is you set your location and it follows your time zone. Like right here, right now, in the bottom right, it's got my GPS location. I'm not going to read it out for obvious reasons, but it's got my GPS location and it knows what time the sun comes up, what time the sun comes down at that location. And then what it starts to do is during the day, it has full blue light coming out of the screen. By around 7:30 o'clock or so, it seems on this setting, it starts to take out about half the light, half the blue light, and by 9:30, 10 o'clock, it's completely off the screen. There's very, very, very little blue light. And that kind of makes the screen look awkward. It makes it look almost like yellowish. A lot of the brightness is gone. It's kind of annoying, you know, if you're looking for a bright screen. But what it does is it takes out a lot of the blue light. And the blue light is what messes with circadian rhythm. And it's going to interrupt your sleep pattern. So stop using the damn screens. Keep them out of the bedroom. Don't fall asleep to TVs. You shouldn't even have a TV in your bedroom. I'll talk about EMF in a minute. Use f.lux to take out the blue light. Use the settings on your phones to take out blue light at night. That will improve your body's ability to produce melatonin, get into deep restful sleep, and stay asleep throughout the night. You also should stay consistent. One of the great tragedies for us is that a lot of people, Monday to Friday, they have a schedule. They get up, they do their stuff, they go to work, they come home, they do their stuff, they go to sleep. And they generally go to sleep earlier during the week than they do on the weekends. And then it's like Friday and it's like, woohoo, it's party time, or Saturday. And it's like they stay out till like the wee hours of the night and they don't get enough sleep. They don't get enough quality sleep. And then by the time Monday rolls around, they're tired as shit. And that's why they're all, oh, it's Monday. For me personally, I just sleep exactly the same time pretty much 7 days a week. I don't give a fuck. I could be out at a party, at a retreat, at whatever. And if it's like 10 o'clock and I usually start feeling tired by like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm like, yo, peace out. I'm going to bed. And some people give you a hard time over that. What are you doing? Have a few more drinks, drink, shot, blah, blah, blah. Smoke a doob, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I'm going to sleep. I don't give a fuck. You guys keep partying. I'll see y'all in the morning, right? And I always like get my room away from all the hustle, bustle, and noise and bullshit. That's just the way that I am because I don't give a fuck. For me, sleep is more important, and staying consistent with when you get up and when you go to sleep 7 days a week is far better than, 5 days a week. And then your body has to try to adapt to like 2 days of like very little sleep or late sleep and trying to sleep in, which you really can't do because your body's not used to it. So being consistent with your sleep patterns is by far the best way to get, again, deep, restful, quality sort of sleep. Another recommendation that I would make for you guys is getting a Wi-Fi timer. Now, I'm going to get into some deeper kind of like woosah shit at this time because getting rid of all EMF in your room, in my view, is helpful. There's a lot of studies that have indicated that being around EMF, these frequencies, and that's, by the way, that's like electronic frequencies through wires in the wall, that's Bluetooth, that's Wi-Fi, that's cellular signals. You can get rid of a lot of these, by the way. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about Wi-Fi, about cellular signals or your neighbor's Wi-Fi, for example, but that mostly stays in their house. It doesn't, come into your house, especially if you've got distance, between the two places. But EMF is disruptive to mitochondrial function, and especially mitochondrial function in your nuts. And if you want strong testosterone levels, putting a cell phone in your pocket by your balls is a bad idea. That's it's about the dumbest thing that you can do. And sleeping by your cell phone is a really bad idea. Having electronics in your room is a really bad idea. Some people will, we'll just limit it down to like lamps, for example, like they have bedside lamps. And I'm going to get geeky on you here, but the fact of the matter is, well, let me explain it to you this way. If you have a garden hose and the water pressure is on, but the sprayer is off, like you're not pulling the trigger, there's pressure up until that point, until you squeeze the trigger. Electricity works the same way. Even if the lamp is off, if it's right by your bed, there's electrical current coming right up to the switch where you turn the knob to to turn on the light and turn off the light. So there's still current that comes close to your body. One of the most interesting biohackers that I knew, when he custom built his house, he actually set up his bedroom so it had a master kill switch on the outside of the bedroom. So before you'd come into the room, there was a switch on the outside of the wall, which would kill electrical feed to all the outlets and sockets throughout the room, with the exception of the one that he needed for his chili pad. And I'll talk about the chili pad later, but basically everything in the room didn't have any electrical current going through the walls, through the lamp plugs, the lighting, the fans, nothing. It was a complete dead zone. That's a little bit extreme, and for you to do that, you'd really have to like get to that point when you're building the house. But just having a Wi-Fi timer that kills the Wi-Fi in your house after a certain period of time, because you're not using Wi-Fi when you're sleeping. So why have that shit bouncing around your house in the middle of the night when you're trying to sleep? It's not normal. It's not natural. EMF disrupts sleep. It disrupts your mitochondrial function, in your body, especially in your nuts and stuff like that. Get rid of anything that's electronic in your room. I know that's going to piss some people off, but I can't sleep without the TV on and blah, blah, blah. You'll get used to it. Trust me. I used to have a TV in my room, and I'd often, leave it on or on a sleep timer to fall asleep to it. It doesn't matter. I don't even notice the difference. In fact, I sleep better and I fall asleep faster without having a TV or any kind of electronics in my room. I don't even have a lamp by my bedside table. The lamp's on the other side of the room. So like there's very, very little of anything, with the exception of my chili pad and a CPAP, which I'll get into in a little bit. Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that short clip.